today we'll be talking about modifications that you can do for your home to age in place. And I wanted to share where I'm coming to you from live. It's actually a very special place for me. It's what we call our granny flat on our property. And my husband and I built it about 7 years ago before the birth of our son. And the intent was to have a nice, safe place for my parents and my in-laws to come and stay when they were visiting us. And also, let's be honest, to have a little bit of space from them when they're here. We all need a little bit of space when family is visiting. And we also built it with the intention to have it as a space where our folks could live if they wanted to in their later years. I happen to be part of the sandwich generation, which means that I have a little kid and I also have parents who are aging in place. And in San Diego alone, we have about 650,000 caregivers of all different kinds, whether that be professional or someone who's in the sandwich generation like me, and we make up about a third of that number. So making sure that your home is prepped and ready and safe so that you can stay here as long as possible is paramount. You never know what's going to happen and when you might need this space. So I had the pleasure of doing a hospice for my father here a few years ago. It's not what we intended for the space, but it was here and he wanted to be here in his final hours. So I may take you around and give you a tour halfway through the seminar here to show you some things that I think I did really well and other things that were a complete fail. And I want to save you from making those same mistakes. There are things that still bother me to this day that had I known and had I prepared earlier on, I think I could have even helped him be more comfortable in those final days. So let's jump into this content. We have a lot to cover. Honestly, this subject, we could probably, Suzanne, we could probably do 4 sessions just on this alone because there's so many different ways that we can go with it. But what I really want to focus and hone in on today are the number one danger that could prohibit you from living longer in your home. What that is, we're going to dig into that. And what you can do about it. How do we mitigate those danger zones? And we'll talk about some low-cost solutions that you could do that by the time we're done with this seminar, you could be on Amazon ordering some things that could help you within a matter of days, and then some longer-term solutions too that you may want to consider. So I'm going to take myself off camera so we can concentrate on the content here. Let me share my screen, make sure all the tech is working. Let's see here, and voila. And let's get my face off of here. Here we go. Okay.
Perfect, you got it.
Perfect, thank you very much. Okay, so we know that right now in 2022, there's more than 55 million Americans that are over the age of 65. And this is significant. If we look ahead to 2030, we should have nearly 71.5 million Americans in this category, and that represents about 20% of the entire projected US population. So it's a big deal, and this is far different if we look back to the 50s and 60s, where maybe about 8% were in this age range. So with this, according to the AARP, we know that nearly 90% of adults in this age range would prefer to age in place at home. They want to be safe and independent and comfortable in their own home versus some of the other options that are available to them, which, other options are great, but if you want to stay in your home, then, let's talk about the best way that you can do that, what changes can be made, both large and small, and things that you can do now so that your home can fit your needs for years to come. And according to the Center for Aging Better, the earlier you start, the more effective these changes can be. And so when I hear that, it really reminds me of my favorite movie, one of my favorite movies, Spy Game. And I don't just like this movie to check out Robert Redford or maybe Brad Pitt over there, but there's a line at the very beginning of the movie that has stuck with me for a long time, whether it be in my career or especially now when it comes to home maintenance. And if you remember, if anybody's seen this movie, the very beginning, Robert Redford says to his secretary, he says, "When did Noah build the ark, Gladys? Before the rain, before the rain." So today, let's talk about our arcs. Let's talk about building them before the rain. In this sense, it's obviously our homes and what we can do to prepare. And before we do that, I am going to offer up some stone cold truths. And I apologize in advance if some of these are hard to hear, but the number one danger to having us all age in our place, it's falling. So the recent stats that came out about falling is that about 1 out of every 3 seniors falls each year. And this is up. It used to be 1 in 4. If you looked back at the stats in 2016 and 2017, really falls have become an epidemic in America, and they're now the leading cause of death due to injury to those of us who are over 65. And obviously, when you think about falls, things can happen where you hurt your hip. They're a major cause of fractures, and they're responsible for more than half of fatal head injuries. So think about it. For the duration of this call, if we know that every 11 seconds an older adult is treated in an emergency room for a fall, how many will be treated by the end of this call? And unfortunately, every 19 minutes, an older adult dies from a fall. So while this whole presentation is not about fall prevention, we can't talk about the best things to do from your home unless we also address what's the number one cause that could permanently remove you from it. And let's not just talk about these stats. It's pretty costly when you have falls. The average cost for a fall when you get to the hospital is about $30,000. It's not cheap. I think of that song from ABBA that goes, money, money, money. If anybody know that, that's what comes to mind when I think of the call of falls. And then we also, on an annual basis, Americans will spend about $50 billion on fall-related injuries. And we're estimated to double that by 2030. So what can we do? Do we just, stay home and never go out and never risk a fall? Let's think about that, because it's a big myth that as long as I stay home, I can avoid falling. The statistics show that more than half of the falls actually take place in our homes or really near outside. And a lot of folks think, well, I'm in a single story home, so I'm not at risk for a fall. And the truth is that more fall injuries are caused on the same level versus stairs, which is kind of where our minds always go to, and from a standing height. So we need to look at how can we remove hazards around the home to decrease our chances for falling? Because if we don't, we may end up somewhere where, it's not our first choice to spend the rest of our time. We know that nursing home admissions, about 40% of them are related to falls. And of those who survive a fall, 50% never return to their prior level of mobility or independence. So again, why am I spending so much time on falls? It's just really important for us to understand these statistics and to do something about it while we can, way ahead of time, to prepare for the rain. And also, ironically, because Susanna is a genius, September is Fall Prevention Month. So all across our country and here in San Diego, there are different events and different seminars and different things that you can learn about fall prevention. The Aging and Independence Services here in San Diego is a really good one. They talk about 5 easy steps. And so, of course, you want to keep moving, get an exercise program, talk to your doctor, review all of your medications, definitely get your vision checked at least once a year. I urge you not to be like my husband, who's walking around with glasses with Great Dane puppy marks in them and tape, and he refuses to go. I need to get him in. But the biggest thing we can do is keep your home safe. So today we'll talk about 3 danger zones in your home, spending the most of our time talking about the number 1 accident location in your home, looking at all of the changes in elevation, and also about transitions. So let's dig into how we can neutralize these danger zones and so we mitigate our fall risks. The biggest one is the bathroom. I don't know how many of you would have guessed that, but your bathroom is the number 1 accident location in your home. And this isn't just for seniors 65 plus. This also is for children or really anybody. Bathrooms are wet and slippery environment, and everything you hit if you fall is hard. So if you do nothing else today, please take some notes on how we can make you safer in your bathrooms, and it'll make me feel really good at the end of this. So there's 2 things you want to do here that you're seeing on this screen. And this is install grab bars. And there's 2 primary places. If you look to the left of the screen, This is a vertical grab bar. And if you notice, it's right at the transition of the shower from when you're walking in and walking out. The other thing you want to do is place a grab bar horizontally as well along the back of the shower. That way, if you were to slip, there's something that you can hold on to stop your fall. You can't, let's see here. And I want you to know that with these grab bars, there are a lot of options for your home that designers are calling design for all, or universal design, or invisibility. No longer are the days where your home has to look clinical if you're adding some of these things. There's some really nice options out there that you wouldn't even know that they're grab bars. So on the top left, that's a shower shelf, and you can also put some things in there. In the middle, that's my favorite. This is a towel grab bar. And this is probably the most important one. If you're in your bathroom and you're losing your balance, the first thing you're going to go for is that towel rack. And those are not meant to hold human beings. They're meant to hold towels. And then you're on the floor. It's very difficult to get up. So that one is a beautiful option that nobody would even know. Another is the toilet paper grab bar on the bottom left. I have these installed in my home. I think they're beautiful, and they're a design that I would have anyway. And there are some companies here in San Diego that the only thing they do is specialize in grab bars and will install them. The one by the toilet, that's especially important as well. You have to think about mobility as you're getting up and down or in and out of a tub. So that's a really good option. And Teresa here on my team, you can see her and her beautiful daughter, Sydney. She has a special tip for everybody too. If you're unsure of what grab bars you should get for your home, or where to go, or maybe you can't afford them, there is a group called Elder Help. They've been around for 40 plus years. They're a wonderful local organization. And at one time they were providing grab bars for free for those in need. So check them out. You can Google them and you can see if maybe you can qualify for that program if you're not sure exactly how to go about this. Another thing you can do is, you can go on Amazon. Amazon has lots of options out there that could be delivered, today or tomorrow based on if you're a Prime member. And a little tip, if you see at the top right of my screen, you see I have smile.amazon.com. If you type in the word smile first, you can choose a school or a charity of your choice, and Amazon will donate a percentage of your purchases to that organization if they qualify. So I always do my son's school, the Waldorf School of San Diego, so they get some extra funds there. Just a little tip. And for Sandy, she's part of our team member here too. Her biggest suggestion with the grab bars are something is better than nothing. But as you can see here from these Amazon results, the majority that we're showing here are suctions. And suctions are okay. Again, something is better than nothing, but we strongly recommend that you avoid the suction if you can. Get the traditional grab bar where there's actually drilling required so that you have the most sturdy solution possible. I mean, I have a loofah sponge on a suction, and that barely holds the loofah sponge. So I know these are meant to hold much more weight than that, but the most reliable option is to have the grab bars professionally installed and get the ones that you actually have to drill in. How can we further neutralize the danger zone in the shower? There's so many things we can do. In this beautiful shower, you'll notice that at the very bottom, there's what we call a zero threshold, meaning that there is no lip for walking in the shower. So you can walk in with a walker or any assisted materials like a wheelchair or a cane without problems. There's also a handheld shower head. And why that's important, you see that there on the right, is if you're having mobility issues, you can sit down on that bench and use the handheld shower head to actually take a bath. There's non-slip floors in here, and also you want a non-slip bath mat. The other tip for neutralizing the danger zone is your toilet. Now, did you know that there are actual toilets that are called comfort height toilets, and they're 2 to 4 inches higher than your standard toilet, and this helps you with getting up and down. And the other thing that I want to point out in here, it's kind of hard to see, but in the middle of the photo, you'll see that there's some shampoo and soap, and they're inset in the back of the shower. Okay. And while this is really, really beautiful, it doesn't have to be that gorgeous. I mean, you can take a typical shower, probably most of our showers will look like this on the left, on the before, and you can change it to the after. You see what they've done here is they have that zero entry. They have a chair in there so you can sit comfortably, horizontal and vertical grab bars, the shower handheld that you can wash yourself with, and then they have the inset shelf in there and the toilet. So these are all things you can do in the #1 danger zone. And let me take a minute and see if I can, I see something on the chat here. Yes, comfort height toilets also help getting up and down. That's right, Ron. They're wonderful. So knowing what I know now, I'm almost tempted to show you my shower that I built out. And if we have any professors on the line, can give me a grade and see how we did, but maybe we'll save that for the end of the presentation. The other way we can neutralize our danger zones and live longer at home is to pay attention to anywhere where the elevation changes. And this could be something, as small as a throw rug. And I'm going to say there's a reason why they're called throw rugs. Throw them away. They're tripping hazards. They are notorious for causing slips, and they're just unnecessary. And if you don't know if your throw rug is acceptable or not, do what I call the twist test. Stand on the throw rug, sing that song, do the twist in your head and twist around and see if it moves. If it does move, it's not going to be compliant for your safety needs, and I would get rid of it. And sometimes we have clients say, oh, but these rugs are so special to me, or they're decorative, or they came from, their travels and they really love them. And I say, that's fantastic. How about turning it into a piece of art? There's plenty of space on the walls where you can hang those beautiful rugs, but they don't need to be under your feet where you could slip and fall. And this is a no-cost solution. You could get rid of these throw rugs today. And if you want, there's lots of other non-slip solutions. And again, just go to smile.amazon.com and you'll see a plethora over there. The next elevation change, I'm going to say, get a grip. And the next time somebody says that to you, you can kind of smile and say, well, I now know the difference between the two grip types that are available out there. Most homes have stair railings on the left-hand side that has what we call a pinch grip. Those are not designed to prevent a fall. Will it help you get up the stairs? Sure. Is it a little bit assistive? Sure. But you cannot take your hand and fully grab that stair rail, which is what is required to actually be assistive to you to prevent a fall. It's sort of like if you took a hammer and you tried to use a hammer by just holding it with your fingertips. There's not a lot of gusto there. So what we want to see is on the right-hand side, this is a handrail, and the power grip here is 5 times as strong. And so to be ADA compliant, you want this cylindrical railing. So it's something circular with the diameter that's about 1.5 to 1.9 inches so that you can fully reach around the grip and help yourself avoid a fall or pull yourself up. But in any event, your first line of defense for a change in elevation is to put in a rail of some sort. And there's lots of types of railings. So you can see here on the left, this is an exterior railing with multiple stairs, and it's a 2-way rail. So that way you can have 2 people using it, or if you have lower mobility in one of your arms, that's okay. You can use either side. And you can see that the designers here were pretty smart by putting a reflective tile on each step too, to call attention that there's a change in elevation. That's really important too when we're looking at the different landscapes of elevation in your home, is do you have visual cues to remind you that there's a change there? In the middle here, you'll see this is another handrail. It's not fancy, but it's just helping with one step, out of the garage or into the home. And then on the far right, which I think doesn't get enough attention or enough love in the handrail category, is a handrail that's just on a wall in a home. It has nothing to do with stairs. This is important because we really want to pay attention to places where someone reaches out and puts their hand on a wall or a piece of furniture for support. If you're doing that somewhere in your home, it's a good indication that this is a place for a railing, something that you can grip will really help you. And I've seen these, we've put these in kitchens, all over living rooms, really anywhere that you find that you need that additional support. The other types of elevation changes we have are for getting into our home on the exterior ramps. We really have two options when it comes to ramps, either module, or if module is a little bit too expensive, we have portable. ADA compliant construction requires that there's a walking surface of 36 inches wide and that there's a safety curb on both sides of the ramp so that a wheelchair can't roll off the edge. So we definitely don't want that. And there should be a round handrail that's set to ADA height, and the surface on it is also important. We want it to be textured and non-slip. And what's interesting when we start to dig into ramps is that sometimes clients often learn that the ramp needs to be much longer than they thought. So the rule of thumb is that for every 1 inch of rise, you need a foot in length. So that's why these modular ramps can get pretty long, but they're wonderful for safety. And if you can afford it, it's a great solution. I have a modified ramp in the home that we purchased 7 years ago, and I love it, and I'm keeping it because it's going to serve me later, and it came with the home. So putting in a permanent ramp like this, if you have a walker or a wheelchair, it can cost, $1,600 to $4,000, depending upon materials and what's going on in our world. So please don't quote me on those prices, but it can get pretty pricey. Or you can move over to the portable ramp, which, is a lot less expensive. A portable ramp to cover a step or a threshold at the entrance, it can cost as little as $100 up to, $1,000 or $1,500, depending upon the length and the type. Okay, now let's talk about our third danger zone, and this is in our transition bucket. So if we look at the exterior of our home, there are a few things that we may not think about. Number one, as we age, how many of us get packages at our house and we have to pick these boxes? Maybe some are heavy, maybe some are light, but we're picking them up all the way from the bottom of the floor without assistance. So an easy solution to help with package delivery is put a bench there or put a table right by your front door and note it on the delivery instructions, please place on table. And that way you're at least not bending down all the way to the floor to pick up your packages. It's also helpful if, as you come to the front door, if you need to put your purse down or your briefcase or whatever you have, again, have something that is elevated that you can put your things on while you open the door. It's also a good solution for some of us don't like our shoes in the house. So you can sit on the bench and tie your shoes. So there's so many ways that you can configure a bench or a table to look nice in the front of your home and serve you in multiple ways to keep you safe as you get into the home. The other options that you can add to your home are what we call transfer aids. So unfortunately, about 450 people annually in the United States fall out of their bed. It's not a fun statistic. I actually know a family friend who had this happen in her family. So it's wise, if you think you're in danger of doing that, to add some transfer aids like you see here in the top left, a pole and a handle. For your living room, in the middle, we have chairs that are mechanical that will help you get up. Just think about getting in and out of beds, chairs, or couches, any place somebody needs to transfer or stand up. We want to support them to avoid a fall. Okay. We also have in the middle here the nice gentleman in a robe. I don't know how appropriate that is for the seminar, but I put him in there. He has a security stander pole. And this is tension mounted floor to ceiling. And these aren't expensive maintenance solutions. Again, our friend Amazon, you can go on there today and order some of these things, some for less than $30. I think that chair starts at $400. These are really low cost maintenance solutions that can help you with your mobility and decrease your chance of falling. My favorite one is the couch helper. You can see the lady in the pink shirt or down below in the purple. There's ways to kind of make these invisible, like we talked about earlier. It can just look like a table or a little coffee table to the side, and it doesn't have to look clinical, but it will help support you as you get up and down. And then while I know we're not talking about cars, I had to include the bonus for the car. On the bottom left, this is a swivel seat. And this makes it easy for you to get into your car. So instead of entering at an angle, you can just sit on the car seat with your legs facing out and then turn with ease to swivel into your car. And this is less than $100 and could be really helpful for someone who needs more mobility. Some other easy interior enhancements for the home. Let's talk about your lever door handles and faucets on the left. It's important when you assess your doorknobs in your home. I know many of us have the round doorknobs and they're beautiful and they're pretty, but as we age and possibly suffer from arthritis or other things, it can be tricky to try and turn them, or if we have stuff in our hands where we're trying to open the doors. What you really want is a doorknob solution that with a closed fist, you could open it. And so that's why we want those lever doors all throughout the house. And the same with faucets. Instead of turning a round knob, it's better to just have a lever that you can either move with your wrist if you need to, if you can't open your hands, just giving you more independence and more flexibility as we age. Also, I encourage you to take a look at your light switches. The easiest light switch for us as we age are these rocker type light switches. We can hit them with our elbow. It doesn't take a lot of force to turn on or off. And what's really fun is that a lot of these rocker light switches come with a cover that have like night lights installed underneath them, because as we move throughout our house, especially in the dark, and we transition from room to room, it needs to be well lit. Lighting is a big way to easily improve your home as we age in place, and you could do that with night lights and also these emergency lights that we're seeing on the right-hand side. These are wonderful. They just plug in to the home. They're battery operated. If there's an emergency, power goes out like we all experienced, I think it was last week with the high heat. I don't know if it went out at your house, but it went out in my house and all the surrounding areas. You're not left in the dark. You can grab these emergency lights, and it's recommended that you put these all throughout the house. So good lighting for a safe and secure home will go a long way. Okay. And our last tip for the day to improve your home from a maintenance solution is something that you may not even have on your radar. But look at where your address is located on your home. And I hope that you have it in 2 places. And if you don't, I encourage you to implement this right away. In the middle of the screen, you'll see there's a curb with an address. It's not expensive. You can have fun with it if you want to put, breast cancer awareness symbols on there, or maybe you're proud to be Irish, whatever it may be. Having your address visible on the curb is extremely important in case of emergencies. I have experienced this firsthand with my father when I had to call 911, and luckily I had visibility on both the curb and my actual home so they could easily find it. It's something that we often don't think about until it's too late. And my favorite product for this is less than $30 on, again, Amazon, but on the far right, this is, it's like a decal that sticks to the curb, and it's reflective so that folks can find your home. And they have all these other options too. You can put your favorite sports team or whatever you want, but make sure that your address is visible on the curb as well as on your home. So you want to reinforce it there and have it backlit. And up in the top left, these aren't expensive either. I think these are $30 to $40 for numbers like this. So this is a little bit about what we can do to make our home safe and mitigate those danger zones, which again, number 1 is the bathroom. Number 2 paying attention to changes in elevation. And number 3, making sure that you're prepared for any time that you're transitioning in and out of the home, in and out of a seat, in and out of a bed. And so with that, Suzanne, I'll hand it back over to you. If we have any questions, this is a big passion of mine, and so I won't take too long to talk about Live Simply, but if any of you are interested in learning more about us, I have the website on here, and a lot of people have trouble finding the site because there's actually a hyphen between Live and Simply. But we're on there. You can read about our 3 programs. If any of them make sense for you, we would love to help you. And because September is a fall prevention month, we're celebrating that with all of our new members. We're setting up a senior home safety assessment where we get to come and meet you in person and specifically look at any fall risks in your home. So I hope you check us out. And if nothing else, I just really hope that some of these tools will be implemented easily this week for all of you.
Melissa, this was terrific. Thank you so much. Really, really comprehensive. I want to just do a shout out and tell you, thank you so much. The last seminar you gave was, recommending that we get our AC checked before summer months. And that was early June. And I did it. And I was so glad that when the heat wave came, I was very confident that my AC was going to hold up and no problems. And I had friends and colleagues, a couple of whom had issues with their AC. And I kind of wanted to say, well, did you get it checked in May or June?
That's great.
So, that was really a great tip. Thank you very much for that. Could I ask you to please go over this? This was a lot of information. Some of these things, we might want to just buy ourselves on Amazon, but I don't know about you, but I don't do power drilling anymore to put things in. So when I wanted to put a safety bar in my shower, I called somebody to put that in for me. Can you go over the first 2 levels of service? And if someone were to want to ask your company to come in and provide the service of doing the check and then making recommendations and then installing things, what kind of cost are you looking at? And how does this fit into these first 2 levels of care?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I think, let's see here. So our first level of care, it's a program that we call Contact, and we have a discounted rate for this group specifically, and who this is really ideal for are seniors who are looking to be able to call somebody whenever they have a maintenance need, or in most cases, a maintenance emergency. So we have a staff that's on hand. There are maintenance call center that 24 hours, 7 days a week can be called for assistance. And when they get a phone call, what we'll try to do first is diagnose, okay, what's really happening? Okay, you say your dishwasher isn't working. Can you tell me more about that? We'll go through, 5 or 6 questions to try and diagnose and troubleshoot with you live on the spot what's happening before sending out a vendor, which obviously costs you money. But if you do need a vendor to come out for a service, we coordinate that through our preferred vendor network. And what I mean by that is, there's a million plumbers and there's a million electricians and lots of different handymen, but who do you trust? And since my family's been in this business and since I've been at the helm for the last 4 years, we've built up this network of trusted, vetted vendors that I won't send to your house unless they've personally been to my house or one of my team members' houses, and we've had a good experience with them. So we take care of that coordination for you. There's no Googling that you need to do, and you don't need to worry that it's someone that's going to take advantage of you. So that's our very first level. We just call it Contact. Just call us, when you need us, and we're going to be happy to help you and service you. And we also we set you up with a system where you can text us, you can email us, or you can call us, whatever mode of communication you prefer, we do. And then everything's also documented in your, what we call homeowner portal, so that you can have a history of all of the repairs that you've had on your home and the transparent vendor invoices as well.
So Melissa, if somebody wanted to do, like we said, this evaluation and then recommendation and then implementation of the security, of the safety updates to one's home, could you do it under this level of service?
You could, absolutely, absolutely. So honestly, Suzanne, like our goal is to help people. This is a mission business for me. And I set up the price point strategically to be affordable and reasonable, as well as it still has to make, some business sense. So we want to help you as much as possible. So if you want to just be on our contact plan, which gives you peace of mind to know that we're there when you need us, and we can set up, since this is fall prevention month, come do our home safety assessment on your behalf and get some of these projects going, can absolutely do that for you. What's important to us is that you're a member with us so that we can facilitate and coordinate these different repairs for you. So we can do that.
So when you do the whole evaluation of, okay, you recommend 1 through 10 things to do, and the homeowner says, well, I want to do 1 through 8, but 9 and 10 I don't want to do right now. We would cost out those first items, and then they would pay you for the whole thing, and you could buy the stuff and install it and take care of the whole thing.
That's right. Exactly. So what we're trying to do is take the work off of your plate. And so Teresa, who I know is on the line here, and it's her phone number that I put up. She's one of our senior home care specialists. So she'll come and she'll do an assessment. And then if the homeowner has agreed, what we like to do is also bring in a contractor at the same time. So that way we're giving you the most bang for your buck. So we can do our safety assessment, and at the same time, a contractor is there saying, okay, for these things, these are the estimated costs. And then you can decide, I just want to do 1, 7, 8, and 9, the costs for them. Live Simply bills you, so you get one bill. So you're not dealing with, okay, I'm going to pay labor on this, and then I'm going to go here and order these things. And then, this didn't fit, so we have to go back. No, you just get one bill from Live Simply, and we take care of the labor and the parts, so that it's no fuss. It's no fuss on your behalf.
Perfect. Yeah. And then the next level of service?
So the next level of service is what we call cruise or cruise control. This is for somebody, and again, there's a 20% discount that's applied that you're not seeing here, but there's a 20% discount for this group. And this is for someone who wants a little bit more. So yes, you want to be able to call us when something happens or something comes up, but you also have some routine maintenance that maybe you would rather be at the beach all day or spending time with the grandkids. You don't really want to be coordinating the gardener or the pool guy, housekeeping, all these kind of recurring monthly services. We will take that burden off of you, and we will work with coordinating those services, paying those vendors directly, so that you just get one bill every month and it's consolidated service. And then what we also like to do is look at your home from a seasonal perspective and get ahead of it, build the arc, get ahead of it. We know, okay, summer's coming. Okay, your air conditioning unit, it's a little old. You might have, another year, but let's put that on our radar to really think about, and we'll put it in the calendar. And we build out a seasonal maintenance plan for you as well, so that we can get ahead of things every year, and your maintenance is just turnkey. So this is more involved. You're going to be seeing us or talking to us on a regular basis. So, think about that. Whether you want to hear from us a lot or a little might determine which plan is best for you.
Okay. Really good. Well, those are the questions I have. I want to open it up to members. Are there any of our members who have a question for Melissa? Please don't be shy. Ron, go ahead.
So we were talking about air conditioning. I just got a notice some parts of California, it's going to be 118. So we talked about air conditioning, but could you talk a little bit about, I got a new air conditioner a few years ago. Mine was original, and it was kind of a shock when I saw the condition of the old one. So I'm glad I made that change, but it doesn't make sense to get a new air conditioner if the rest of your home is inefficient. So maybe you could talk about passive aspects of housing, maybe new windows and I know there's different ways to save money on heating and air conditioning when you get new windows, or properly do things around the house to keep it warm or cold. So maybe there's other passive things you could do as well besides getting a new HVAC unit. So maybe you could talk about those things.
Yeah, there are, and there are, that's a good question, Ron, thank you. There are, the HVAC companies, I've just recently had a couple at my house that I'm trying to figure out a better solution for our HVAC. And you do want to look at the house in totality. You want to look at your attic. Has your attic been cleaned out recently? And what is the insulation in your attic like? Right? You want to check out all of your doors and windows to make sure that they're sealed properly and that air is leaking out. There are other solutions such as, curtains. So at my house, I have these floor to ceiling windows, and if I left the curtains down or left the curtains up all day, it's just a sauna. I'm out in East County. I'm in La Mesa, so it's just a sauna. So we have these very specific Lutron shades, and I put them down every single day before I turn our HVAC system on. So there are a plethora of things you can do to make your home have a symphony that's running together and not fighting each other. And there's a lot of improvements in the HVAC technology too. And there is financing available. So it is not inexpensive to get a whole new system, but if your home really needs it and you're willing to do the other things, then it may be worth looking into that financing option, which multiple companies have. And then also, this is a basic one, but we talked in our last seminar about the ceiling fans. Make sure they're going in the right direction for summer, so that
Right.
airflow is helping out your HVAC system.
Yeah, that's another feature I got in my home was I installed the ceiling fan. That helps too. But yeah, I think as we age, I've seen this in the news too. It's two things. As we age, we're not able to handle heat as well. And as we're experiencing now, we're getting into situations where in the future, we're probably going to have more extreme weather, including heat. And it just makes the aging population more vulnerable. So I think whatever we can do in our homes to keep them cool.
Yes,
will
double
help.
pane windows if you can, double pane.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Fran and then Peter.
Yes,
Fran,
I have 3 contributions. Number 1, I've been using Amazon Smile for years.
Oh, good.
And they let me know yearly how much they donate to Father Joe's.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. And number 2, I asked when I saw a truck at my neighbor's home a few years ago with attic attention. So I had them come over, and he gave me a quote of $3,500 to insulate my attic, including the garage. Because I was noticing that during the summer, the garage would get hot, even though you're just in it, a short time. So I called them this year, and they said, "Oh, it was $6,500 to $7,000."
Mm-hmm.
So I should have done it a few years ago. And your last seminar, I agree with Suzanne. I paid attention, but I didn't call my little room air conditioning person. So now I'm just hoping that it doesn't crash because of using it.
Oh my gosh, during this heat wave. Yes,
Yeah.
crossed.
all right, thank you. Peter, go ahead.
I have to unmute myself. Thanks very much. This is all very interesting. I know that one of the things that scares me, I think the safety thing is so important. That scares me in bathrooms and places like that is skidding.
Yes.
And slipping. What do you recommend for, what do you recommend that you put on the floor that deters skidding? Like bathtubs you could put in, they have skid mats, but are there other things like that you recommend?
There are. So it depends on how, what your appetite is to update your bathroom. If you want to do new flooring, there's non-skid flooring, and the smaller the tile, the better. There's also rubber flooring, which is pretty interesting. I'm going to show you, let's see. Let me show you my bathroom that I did for my folks. Let's see here. How do I do this? I will come on video and I can show you what we did.
I'm amazed in hotels how
Oh, yeah.
how insensitive they are to this. I was recently in a hotel someplace that really I had to walk 1 inch a second because I was so terrified of slipping.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On their floor. My age, I can't, I'm less steady, so I walked very slowly.
Yes. And Peter, a very inexpensive solution. Again, let's go to smile.amazon.com.
I have Smile. I've been using it for years.
Oh, good. Okay. I just found this out when my son went to school 2 years ago. And I thought, what have I been doing this whole time? But socks are the best too. You get the socks, the no slip socks, then no matter where you are. But I'll show you what we did. And I apologize. I'm not the videographer in my family. My husband is. That's
okay.
The film production company, and he will die if I. Okay, so this is the shower that we did. So it's ADA compliant with the doors. They're wide enough, 36 inches wide, a clear space. Yeah. And then you can see. I hope I'm doing this right. You can walk right in, and you see the floor. You see how flooring? It's a non-slip flooring, and then we have a seat back there. We have the shower head. So I'm feeling like knowing all this stuff.
What is that non-skid? What is that? What are those little tiles?
This one is a rock. This one is I'll have to look up the product. Yeah, I'll have to look up the product.
It's a stone product. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, I'll check that out. That looks quite nice, and I'm sure there's a lot of different versions of it.
There are. And again, you just want to make sure. So here we have a railing, and this is not. I learned today. This is not the grip that we want, right? This is an F.
Sure.
But we have our rocker switches here.
Yeah, we comply with a lot of things. We have a lot of rocker switches. We've put up safety bars in the bathroom.
Okay.
In all the directions that you've put, but I don't know that we're really. We have low level entry into the bathroom and everything, but I'm worried that we don't have sufficient skid safety for that. And a lot of great things here getting on people's minds. It's very important for us to think about this stuff. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad.
I have to say, and I say one other further question, honestly. So you sound very reliable. I mean, there are several different companies that offer your services. You have competitors, which is great. So one of the things that I find is a challenge, how do I decide between you and another company that offers your services? Do you see what I mean? I mean, I go by, reputation. That's the only thing you can do. If you've come here several times, Suzanne knows you, she's invited you, that helps a great deal. But I know that when I talk to other senior people, they're always saying, how do I choose? How do I choose? How do I pick? Everybody's in for profit. Well, of course they're in for profit. I mean, we all know that. Good services are provided by people who can make a reasonable amount of money doing it. So, but then we have to decide how to choose.
I know. It is hard. And honestly, as a businesswoman, it's something I'm working on, because what I have not done a good job, I'm still waiting on Google to send me my link so I can get my reviews up for Live Simply. My whole business model has been based on word of mouth. And I really do need to do better of creating a more trusted presence and reputation online, because that's where everybody's going. And I've been busy working on the business and not on that part. So I do see your question, and I think it's referrals. Somebody that's used us, that has confidence in our service, that you have confidence in. That's the best we can do. I mean, that's the way we've gone to date. And I'll also be honest, Peter. And maybe my team, who's likely on this call, I shouldn't say this in front of them, but I don't have aspirations to be like a huge, big national company. I mean, maybe someday, but I quite like being a smaller family business that's local, that can take care of our local community. That's where I'm happiest. So I'm not trying to compete with those bigger box folks. We're more boutique, and I like it that way. And I will say this. We have been successful enough that I'm very proud to say we are in a position where we can choose who we work with. We only want to work with nice people. So that helps us make the decision too, because this business, it's a relationship business. I have to tell we talk about this with my team all the time, that it's not transactional. This is a relationship. So you have to like us, we have to like you, and we don't hold anybody hostage. You sign up. I think it's a monthly contract, but you don't like us, that's okay. We'll part ways. We're not holding anybody hostage.
So I have a suggestion, do put your referrals online, the comments that people sent you. And the other thing is if you can get people to be willing to talk to other people. So if somebody would be willing to talk to me, did you use these people and they gave you feedback, boy, does that count hugely. So
That's true. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, we can do that.
thank you. Thanks a lot for all your ideas. It was very helpful to me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for joining.
All right, any other
Done.
questions from our members? Otherwise, I think we've done a great tour today, and I thank you very much, Melissa, for your presentation, all this helpful information. And we'll see you all soon at our next event. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I'll leave this thing. Leave.